Squiz Kids acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands on which we podcast, the Turrbal and Kombumerri people.
Squiz Kids!
It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Bryce Corbett. It's Thursday, June 13. In Squiz Kids Today, Panda diplomacy in Adelaide, Mars's snowy mountains, elephants have names, and the fake Tassie Tiger. That's what's making news, kid style.
The Lowdown.
Okay, Adelaide, time to get the place shipshape. Tidy your rooms, Squiz Kids in the South Australian capital make sure the playground and streets are free of litter, and give yourselves a spit and polish. There's a special guest coming your way, and he's making a beeline for your pandas. The fate of Adelaide Zoo's resident panda pair, Wang Wang and Fu Ni, is expected to be decided this weekend, when the second most powerful man in China arrives in Adelaide on a special visit. Wang Wang and Fu Ni have been living at Adelaide Zoo for the last 15 years, on loan from the Chinese government and as part of a program known as Panda diplomacy. Now, that's a fancy term for a program which sees China lend out its pandas to different countries around the world as a sign of friendship. So, why is the visit of China's Premier Li Qiang such a big deal? Because it's the first visit to Australia by a high-ranking Chinese leader in 7 years, and a sign that the friendship between our two countries is going well. And so why would that be a thing? Because China is our largest trading partner, which is to say, China buys more stuff that we make than any other country in the world. And when we sell stuff, it's generally good for us in the economy. There are 1.4 billion Chinese people. That's billion with a B, so that's a lot of people who might be interested in stuff that we make and sell. Now, if as expected, Premier Li visits Adelaide Zoo on Saturday morning and announces the pandas are staying there, it will be considered a good sign. And not just for visitors to the zoo who want a dose of maximum panda cuteness. Of course, our own Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has some serious things to raise with Premier Li, subjects on which we disagree as countries. But everyone agrees that if the panda pair get to stay with us another 5 years or so, that has got to be a good thing.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in Kenya, on the African savannah, where two herds of elephants have been calling each other by name. Hang on a minute, what? Elephants call each other by name? That's the findings from a scientific study which recorded the noises elephants make when in each other's company, and then used artificial intelligence to decipher those noises, only to discover that elephants have names for one another, and that they respond when another elephant calls them by their elephant name. And get this! As if to prove that elephants are more like humans than we thought, one of the most common forms of communication was adult elephants shouting out the names of their children. Sound familiar, anyone?
Spaced out.
Okay, space lovers, prepare to have your minds blown just a little bit. New research has found that there are volcanoes on Mars which are 3 times taller than Mount Everest, the tallest mountain on Earth, and that these volcanoes have craters that are up to 100 times wider than any down here on Earth. And that's not even the most amazing bit. New photos from the Red Planet have revealed that frost has been discovered forming at the base of these craters and around their rims. Now, why is that a big deal? Because as you know, ice is water that is frozen. And if there's water on Mars, then the chances of humans one day being able to live there increase dramatically. Imagine skiing on the ice down a Martian volcano 3 times the height of Mount Everest. Now that would be cool. Every Wednesday, Squizzy the Newshound pops his head into the Squiz Kids HQ to report back on fishy things he's sniffed out on the internet. And his fake news radar has been on high alert this week after a series of Facebook posts and YouTube videos appeared claiming to show photos of a Tasmanian tiger in the wild. Now, Tassie tigers have been extinct for 87 years. Extinct means they no longer exist as a species. But every now and then someone in Tasmania reckons they've spotted one. And hey, maybe there are one or two still out there. But the photos that surfaced on YouTube and on Facebook these past couple of weeks are fakes. Experts in all things Tassie Tiger have looked at the photos and concluded that the fakers most likely used a dummy dog and took the photos at night and purposefully made them fuzzy, and then put them up on YouTube to try to trick people into believing they were real. And that's the thing, as we discuss in our free media literacy program for primary school kids, Newshounds, how it's really important whenever we're online to stop, think, and check whenever we come across a piece of information or a video or a photo that we think might be fake. Thanks, Squizzy. You've done it again.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. In which country were herds of elephants studied to discover that they call each other by name? Yeah, well done if you said Kenya. Question number 2. How many times taller than Mount Everest is a newly discovered Martian volcano? Did you say 3 times? Well, you'd be right. Question number 3. What are the names of the 2 pandas at Adelaide Zoo? Their names are Wang Wang and Funi.
Shout outs.
It's June 13. Today is the birthday of Aussie surf legend Mick Fanning, Aussie country singing legend Slim Dusty, and NRL player Semi Radradra. It's also a special day for these Squiz kids celebrating a birthday today. Annabelle from Herberton, Ethan from Collaby, Hayley from Brisbane, Christian from Bonnyrigg, and Scarlett from Terry Hills. And classroom shout-outs today go to the kindergarten class with Mrs. Butler and the Year 3 class with Ms. Bonotto and Ms. Ericchiello at St. Paul's of the Cross Catholic School in Dulwich Hill. Whew. Class 3B with Mrs. Baker at Kruger State School in Ipswich. Class 120 with Mrs. O'Toole at St. Bernard State School in Mount Tambourine. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you want a shout out, or if you're after a classroom shout out, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au or fill out the form on our website. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again tomorrow with our famous Kids versus Adults weekly news quiz. Your chance to prove who's been paying the most attention to the week that just was. In the meantime, my friends, you know what to do. Get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out.